And then I'm going to give you a bonus text, all right? Here's another text that, believe it or not, turns women off. And it's this. It's the reconfirmation text. Yes, you set up a date with a woman, and then you're thinking, well, the next day, I'm going to hit her up to remind her about this date. Or a lot of guys do the thing where they'll say, hey, let's go on a date, and then I'll hit you up later to plan the actual day and time. Guys, women do not need reconfirmation texts, ever. They don't. They never need you to remind them that you asked them on a date. Most women are smart, and admittedly, some of them are smarter than men, and they have a memory like an elephant. They remember stuff. If you get into a relationship with these women, they're going to remember stuff that you did to them 5 years ago and how they felt about it and all this other stuff. You mean to tell me she can't remember in the span of 12 hours a date that you just set with her 12 hours ago? Like, that's asinine. So it's not anything you need to do. You do not need to ever send a woman a reconfirmation text about a date. If anything, if you don't send it, you know what's going to happen? Around the time of the date, she's going to text you and say, hey, so is the date still on? Blah, 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 blah. And that's the thing. That's an action that a woman can take that's not going to take her down a peg or two, because we don't take anything personal, read anything personal about it. But when you as the guy send the, hey, so are we still on text? It gives this aura of you that you're not confident, that you don't believe that you're good enough for her to actually remember the date. It can actually cause her to have buyer's remorse, do a double take about, should I go out this guy? And then actually cancel dates. And I've had women that, for example, I had a woman friend a few years ago that I had a crush on, and I asked her on a date, and she did not want to go. But I asked her on the date in person, mind you, and I said, great, go for the date this day. And the next day comes, and I'm nervous as heck that she's going to cancel. Because it's really hard to get a woman friend that you have a crush on out on a date. But I did it, but I'm thinking she's going to cancel. I said, but you know what? You cannot call her. You can't text her. Assume the date's going to happen. 10 minutes before the date, this woman who was not interested in me, hits me up. Hey, so are we still going on our date or what? Why? Because I, as the guy, had enough guts to believe that this thing was going to happen. And that's the impression that I get. Even if I was at home, nervous as heck that it wasn't going to happen, the reality was I knew I had to not contact her in order to make it happen. Because if I contact her and said, hey, so is the date still on? Now I've asked her a question, which means I'm now giving her an out to this date. And the worst thing you can do is do a reconfirmation text that gives a woman an out, because she might go on this date and actually have a great time. But prior to that, if you're hitting her up, seeing if it's still on, she might decide in her head, it's probably not a good idea, and cancel it. And then you guys never get that chance. All right. So stop sending reconfirmation texts. They are not needed. And you're more likely to get the outcome and the date that you want if you do not send them. This episode is brought to you by the Introvert Dating Success Membership Academy, opening on November 1st. Join the waitlist and get your free PDF, The Girlfriend Roadmap Checklist, at introvertdatingsuccess.com.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm. Oh, yeah.